What's going on, Perform24 family? Levi Jaeckel back with another video, back in the garage for part 3 and the final part of the garage gym build. I've been waiting to film this for a couple weeks now. I just haven't had time to sit down and talk through the final design build. So I'm very excited to do that today. Okay, so what I wanted to do in this video is I want to just kind of show you the final layout. And I do say final because I'm not going to be adding anything more to this gym. I've been working on this gym concept and what exactly I wanted in here for a very long time now. And I've finally checked all those boxes, and I'm not going to be adding anything else. I'm going to be training in here. My wife is going to be training in here as it sits for the foreseeable future. So I know that, you know, sometimes gyms tend to expand. This one is going to be capped. It's capped as it sits right now. So anyways, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of go through the pieces of equipment that I have in here, and then I'm going to tell you how I got them, or where and when I got them, because there are some gems in here. I've got nice equipment in here, but there are some gems in how I got them. So anyways, I just thought that some of that was interesting, and it's taken a while. So that's something that I also kind of want to emphasize, that this isn't something that I just did in a weekend on a whim. This has been a long time coming. And so I just kind of want to share that adventure. Some of this stuff I do have specific reviews on. I only do equipment reviews on pieces of equipment that, you know, either I don't think are as mainstream as they should be, or something that I kind of have something unique to say about it. I train pretty frequently, but then I also train a bunch of clients, and those clients are a wide variety of people all day long. So I have a gym here in Tampa called Perform24. I started it in 2014. So I've got a lot of experience with the different pieces of equipment that are sometimes unique. So anyway, some of these pieces I might have reviews on, and then I do have a couple reviews in the hole that I would like to make about some of the pieces in here. But let's just talk about this garage gym in general. So let's start with the floor. The floor actually came from my facility. It was leftover flooring. I think somebody in one of my previous gym build videos said that stall mats would have been easier. Maybe not. I think that this works perfectly for what we need. I still might add a layer of flooring. I haven't done that yet. I still might do that. I've only got two lengths laid right now. I might put a third one down at some point, but right now this is working for us. I went with this option rather than stall mats just because there's only one seam going right down the center, and I'm not going to have to tape multiple seams, and less seams is less space for dust to get ingrained in. So this works great for me, and honestly this was very, very easy to cut. I did not expect this to be as simple as it was, but it's very, very easy to cut. And once I cut it to length, it's not that hard to drag it into place and tape it down either. So this was a lot more convenient than I was expecting. But I didn't pay anything for the floor, so that's also part of the reason why it's here. Okay, let's jump over to the Onnit kettlebells. I'm going to be doing a specific review on these Onnit primal bells because I think I've got something unique to say about them that I haven't seen anybody else talk about online. So that is coming. Hopefully, that's the next video that I'm going to make. So hopefully within a few days that video is up. But I bought those. I actually was given the big gorilla kettlebell as a gift. One of my MLB players, he gave me that as a gift a couple years ago, and that has been at the gym for a long time. Last summer I decided to add to the primal bell collection, and I got the 3 smaller ones. Those 4 kettlebells have been at the gym up until I brought them to the garage. Now let's talk about the power blocks. I did buy those power blocks new last fall. It was something that had to do something with Black Friday. I didn't get a deal on them, but I just got notified that they were in stock, which if you were trying to buy power blocks last year, you know that they were almost impossible to get your hands on. In my opinion, I've used power blocks for years and years and years and years. Those things are the best. They're extremely durable, which is why I felt comfortable investing in them. Those things are going to take a beating for the lifetime of however long we use them, and they're going to be great. Okay. AirX pad and trap bar. The trap bar was actually a pre-pandemic purchase that I picked up on like Facebook Marketplace a couple years ago. And I think I only paid $50 for it at the time. So I was using that at the gym, but I've got 3 or 4. And then I ended up upgrading one of my trap bars at the gym to the bigger Rogue version. And so I brought this one here. Okay, same thing with the AirX pad. I've cycled through AirX pads at the gym every once in a while. They don't last forever, and they do get used pretty hard. So anyways, that was just one that I had at the gym. I brought home again during the lockdowns, and this has again been in our personal collection since then. But you know, an AirX pad again is something that you might not think that you need, but when you have it, it's very, very nice to have. So you know, we don't have a bench in here, and so to work around that, we do a lot of kneeling exercises, and so to have something to put your knees on, it does save them. I've got pretty calloused up knees just from demoing half kneeling exercises all day long. So anyways, that helps prevent banging up your knees. All right, moving on to the main event, moving on to the rack. So this is a Sorinex Base Camp half rack. This rack is an absolute beast, and I am super, super thankful to have it. Believe it or not, this was actually a Facebook Marketplace find. I found this rack on Facebook, and I happen to know the guy selling it. So I think he started asking a pretty fair deal for it, but then I hit him up, and we came to an even better deal. Now, that deal has a stipulation, and the deal is that if I ever decide to sell it, which, let's be honest, I probably won't be selling it anytime soon, but if I ever decide to sell it, he has first right of refusal, so I have to call him up, and he can buy it. He's got the option to buy it back from me for the exact same price that I bought it from him. So that's part of the deal. I think that's more than fair. But I feel very, very happy to have this thing in the garage. It is a monster of a rack. If you've ever lifted on a Sorinex rack, you know that their quality is second to none. So having this, you know, right outside in our garage is awesome. Also, this rack did come with a couple special goodies and upgrades. So it did come with the dip bar. What is that? They're like El Diablo dip bar or something like that. So it does come with a dip bar that can just be attached at any point in the rack. And it does come with one of the rollers for single leg work. So we do Bulgarians a lot. Obviously, we've got the kettlebells and the dumbbells and the barbells to do Bulgarians with. We do Bulgarians in here all the time, and having that roller pad is awesome. So not only was this a great deal for the rack itself, but it did come with a little extra bells and whistles. So we've also got the rack loaded up with quite a bit of weight. Now, some of this was a hustle, and then some of this was retail. So I pay attention to local equipment markets pretty closely, especially like if I know that there might be some acquisitions coming up in the future. I'll start combing through Facebook Marketplace, you know, daily for sure, sometimes even a couple times a day. But right before COVID, which I can't believe, you know, how this worked out, but right before the lockdowns, there was a local gym that went out of business. They were a CrossFit facility, and I did get in contact with them. And I did buy a few things from them to use at the gym. After they kind of went through most of their selling process, they had like small things left. One thing that they had left were they had like 30 of these 10-pound bumper plates that they couldn't get rid of. And so they just gave me a ton of them. I think I've got 6 here, and then I've got another probably 6 more even at the gym. I did kind of dish those out to people that needed them during the lockdowns, but I hung on to 3 sets for myself. So the 10-pounders I didn't pay for at all. And there's a couple more pieces that came from that gym that you'll see here in a little bit. But the 25s and the 45s I did buy new. So again, when the lockdowns happened, Jess and I were working from home full time. I did buy a set of 45s and a set of 25-pound bumper plates from Sorinex. So that was last summer, and so we used those. We've been using those for the last year. Recently, I was up at Sorinex in Lexington for their Summer Strong event, and they were kind enough to allow me to purchase bumper plates while I was there, so I didn't have to pay for shipping. So I ended up buying 2 sets of 45s and then another set of 25s. Because when Jess and I are both working out in here together, sometimes we need more plates. And let's be honest, I mean, I can max out all the weight that we have in this gym on my deadlifts. But anyways, we needed some more weight, and so I was able to kind of pick those up while I was there and avoid some shipping costs, which Sorinex is notorious for high shipping costs, so that was a big break. And when you eliminate shipping from their products, I actually think these bumper plates are a great deal. I don't know. I've got a few opinions on these bumper plates, but maybe I'll save them for a specific video just on those plates. But we got more things to talk about, so I'm just gonna move on. So hanging from the rack, we've got a set of rings and a TRX strap. That TRX strap is something that I have had since college. I can't even remember how I got my hands on that. It was gifted to me, I know, in some type of gift bag thing. At the time, I was training at our student rec center. Lobos, University of New Mexico, the student rec center was my first ever training job all the way back in 2010. So it had something to do with I was on staff somewhere and we got a gift bag of things, and in that gift bag was a TRX, which is pretty sick. So anyways, I've had that TRX for 10 years now, which is insane, but it still looks brand new just because the only people that use it are Jess and I. That's where that came from. And then those set of rings, that was another kind of freebie that CrossFit gym gave me. I had initially expressed interest. They had like 3 or 4 sets. I had initially expressed interest in a couple sets, and then ended up only buying one, and then the other ones they couldn't sell. And so they just gave me a couple sets, which, you know, are at the gym, and then I brought a set here. So having a set of rings and having the TRX is very nice. Just adds a little versatility to our relatively minimalist garage gym. Let's talk about these barbells next. I don't know if you can see them from here. I'm sure there's some B-roll going on. But I have a Bella bar and I have a Matt Chan bar. The Bella bar I did buy new. And this was the first ever barbell that I bought from Rogue. I bought that about a year ago. And again, it was Jess and I are training from home. She has a very, very minimal equipment and we're trying to expand her training capabilities. And so the first investment that I made was bumper plates and a barbell. At the time, she was really the only one using the home gym. And so I got a Bella bar. I'd never purchased a barbell from Rogue up until that point, and it was kind of a less hefty of an investment to get one of the Bella bars than it was some of the other bars that I've ended up buying since that one came in. So that was the first bar that I bought from Rogue. It came in, the bumper plates came in from Storenex, and that expanded her training capabilities from our original garage significantly. The second barbell up there is a Matt Chan bar, and that was a Facebook steal. I have an entire video dedicated just to like picking that barbell up. She sold that to me for $125. And this is one of my favorite barbells that I own. It's one of my favorites because it's an excellent bar, no question. But 2, it's a little bit beat up. And I actually love having a beat up bar here in this garage gym because I don't feel guilty for just hammering on it. And also kind of keeping it in a garage. It's not nice and insulated in here, so it's going to be exposed to temperature swings. And of course, living in Tampa, humidity is out of control. So that's a stainless steel bar, so it's going to be able to handle humidity, no problem. It's going to be able to handle the elements, no problem. And like I said, it was damaged. The knurling is smashed up where it was sitting on cheap J-cups and probably metal J-cups, and the metal J-cups just wrecked that bar. So outside the knurling or outside the Olympic marks, that barbell's kind of messed up. But I don't ever go that wide on a barbell anyway, so it doesn't matter to me at all. And I can have a stainless steel bar. It spins incredibly. Not that I'm doing huge Olympic weights in here, but anyways, it's still nice. But that's an awesome bar for my garage. Let's talk about the rower. The rower, again, a Facebook steal. I've used water rowers for a very long time, so every once in a while, when I'm going through my Facebook marketplace searches, I'll search for a water rower. This was actually found in a private group that I'm part of here in Tampa. And the lady was selling this because it was broken. It was the tank was split. She couldn't fix it or didn't want to fix it or who knows what. But the tank was split. Again, she sold this to me for $150. Super, super cheap. If you know water rowers, that's a tenth of the price that you would pay new for it. It was an old unit, but I took a shot on it thinking that I could fix it. I went through 3 different epoxy attempts to try to fix that thing. I almost threw it away. Honestly, I was this close to throwing it away. But I contacted Water Rower, told them directly what I was having trouble with, and they got me set up with a new product. The new product worked. So they sent me the epoxy that they use in their factory. and I cleaned it up one more time, gave it one more shot, and it's sealed. So pretty pumped about that. Having a water rower again in the gym is incredible. It just brings a whole new element to our training availability or our training capability. And then in the corner, I don't know if you can see that from here, but that's my rucksack. I've been using that backpack as my rucking bag for about a year and a half now. I will say this here, it is getting upgraded, but that's going to be its entire own video. That is a very, very cheap backpack. Right now there's 45 pounds in it, and I have rucked. Every ruck that I've gone on in the last year and a half has been with that bag. So I've used that as a training bag now for a long time, and it definitely has some miles on it, and it's held up okay. It's a very cheap bag, and I've definitely ripped it a few times, but it's held up, and it's got me to this point, and it was super cheap. So including the weights that are in it, that was under $100 for me to build. I made a blog post about how to build a rucksack for under $100. I can link that below. If you really want to get into rucking, but served me for a year and a half, but it is about to be retired. And then the Peloton. So over in the corner, we've got the Peloton. The Peloton was our first home gym purchase, I guess you could say. We purchased the Peloton when we had our first baby, and Jess was unable to get to the gym. So she needed a way to train at home, and that was the initial route that we went with. So that was like spring of 2019. So we've had the Peloton now for a long time. And honestly, I mean, she uses it religiously, 3, 4, 5 times a week. I have been using it more because now that I'm training in here more and more of my training is starting to come here rather than in the gym. And the gym is starting to become work only, like training only, coaching only, and this is kind of becoming my space to kind of escape some of that stuff. But every time I'm training in here, I'm using the Peloton to warm up, and so I'm using it more than I have in the last year for sure, but it still gets worked, still gets hammered. If you care to hear my opinions on the Peloton, just let me know in the comments, and I'll make a specific video dedicated to that. Again, I think I have a little bit of a unique perspective, one as a user, but then two as a coach. I have a ton of clients that have a Peloton, so having that conversation with them might bring me a little bit of a unique perspective. But anyways, that's our Peloton. Okay, so that's gonna wrap up the final garage gym build video. Like I said, as the garage sits right now, it's gonna stay like this for a while. But if you guys have any questions on any of this equipment, the first 2 videos, part 1 and part 2, generated quite a bit of interaction from the viewers, and I love that. So if you guys have any questions about anything that I did in here or any of the pieces of equipment, please don't hesitate to reach out. As always, I appreciate all you guys that watch this. If you enjoy the Garage Tent content or if you want to see more content from the gym, please consider subscribing. But in the meantime, train hard, live full, and I will see you in the next video.